The alien research ship HFY floated silently at the edge of neutral space. Its hull was smooth and white, shaped with perfect curves, built more for thought than war. Inside, soft blue lights glowed across clean metal floors. This ship was not meant to fight. It was meant to observe, analyze, and understand. At least, that was what the crew believed. Ahead of them, drifting slowly through the dark, was a human warship. It did not move. It did not transmit signals. It did not respond to any hails. The ship looked wrong. Its shape was sharp and heavy, like a blade left in the dark too long. The hull was dark gray, scarred in many places, covered with plates stacked over plates. There were no smooth curves, no beauty, only purpose. Commander Threxel stood on the bridge, his long fingers resting on the command rail. His eyes did not leave the image on the main screen. A single human ship, he said calmly, drifting. No escort, no response. The science officers around him clicked their mandibles in quiet interest. Humans are careless, one of them said. They rely on emotion. This ship may be abandoned. Threxel did not reply. He had studied humans more than most. They were loud, yes. Emotional, yes. But careless? He was not convinced. Begin a long-range scan, he ordered. Standard procedure only. The scan beams activated, invisible waves spreading toward the human warship. At first, everything was normal. The scanners returned basic data. Hull, Massachusetts. Power signatures. Internal volume. The science team relaxed. This will take minutes, said Chief Analyst Rithkan. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. Then the first warning appeared. A soft tone echoed across the bridge. Rithkan tilted his head. That is strange. What is it? Threxel asked. The power systems. Rithkan said slowly. They are layered. Explain. There is no single main reactor, the analyst replied. There are multiple cores. Independent. Each one capable of supporting the ship alone. Threxel narrowed his eyes. Continue the scan. The scanners pushed deeper. More warnings followed. The navigation systems were split into isolated sections. Life support had separate control paths. Weapons were disconnected from central command. Nothing flowed cleanly. Nothing depended on one system. Rithkan's voice lost its confidence. Commander, this design is inefficient. In what way? It wastes space. It adds weight. It creates redundancy beyond reason. Threxel stared at the human ship. Redundancy was not wasteful. Redundancy meant expectation. Expectation of damage. Another alarm sounded, louder this time. A junior technician looked up in fear. Our scanners are receiving feedback. Feedback. Threxel repeated. Yes, Commander. The human ship is responding to our scan. The bridge fell silent. That is impossible, Rithkan said. We are only observing. The technician swallowed. It is not blocking us. It is adjusting. On the screen, data streams shifted. The scan resolution increased. The human ship was allowing deeper access. Threxel felt a chill move through his body. Why would they allow this, he asked quietly. No one answered. The scan reached the ship's internal structure. The crew expected chaos. Human designs were often messy, but what they saw was worse. Every corridor had blast doors. Every compartment could seal itself. Every system could function while the rest of the ship burned. This ship is built like a fortress, Rithkan whispered. No, Threxel corrected him. It is built like a survivor. The weapon scan began automatically. Before anyone could stop it, energy readings spiked across the bridge. Weapons arrays appeared on the screen. Too many. Hidden turrets, buried missile tubes, hard-mounted cannons built into the hull itself. But what shocked them most was not the size of the weapons. It was their condition. These weapons are active, the technician said. They are powered, ready. But the ship is drifting, another officer said. No crew response. No movement. Threxel's voice was low. Perhaps drifting is intentional. The scanners reached the ship's core systems. And then everything froze. The displays went dark for half a second. The lights flickered. Several crew members cried out in alarm. What happened? Threxel demanded. Rithken stared at his console in disbelief. The human ship noticed our scan, he said. Silence followed. Not just noticed, Rithken continued. It classified it, identified it, and it decided not to stop us. The implications settled heavily on the bridge. The human warship was aware and unconcerned. A new data packet appeared on the main screen. Not an attack, not a warning. A simple system log. Translated automatically. Scan detected. Threat level, low. Observation permitted. Threxel felt something unfamiliar twist inside him. Fear. This was not a trap, not a threat. It was worse. The human ship believed it did not need to hide. And as the scan continued deeper, the alien crew began to understand why. The scan that should have been routine had just changed everything. The bridge of the alien ship, HFY, was silent. No one spoke. No one moved. The words on the main screen stayed there, calm and cold. Threat level, low. Observation permitted. Commander Threxel finally broke the silence. Continue the scan, he said. Several officers looked at him in shock. Commander, Chief Analyst Rithken said carefully, the human ship is aware of us. Yes, Threxel replied. That is exactly why we must continue. The scan beams pushed deeper into the human warship. What they found next erased any remaining belief that human ships were poorly designed. The internal layout appeared on the screen. It was not elegant. It was not clean. But it was clear. Every section had a purpose. Every meter of space was used for survival. The ship had no open halls, no wasted areas. Corridors were narrow, forcing movement in single lines. Walls were thick. Corners were sharp. This design limits movement, a scientist said. It slows attackers. It also controls them, Rithken added quietly. They saw layer defense zones inside the ship. If enemies boarded one section, doors would seal behind them. Air could be removed. Gravity could be reversed. This ship is designed to fight from the inside, Threxel said. The scan moved to the life support systems. They expected a central control. There was none. Life support was divided into dozens of independent units. If one failed, others would take over. If half the ship was destroyed, the rest could still support life. These systems can run while burning, Rithken said. Why would anyone build this? Threxel already knew the answer. Because humans expect to lose parts of their ship, he said, and continue anyway. A quiet fear spread across the bridge. The scan reached the armor layers. Human armor was not strong because it was thick. It was strong because it failed correctly. Outer plates were designed to break away. Inner layers absorbed heat. Deeper layers hardened when struck. Damage control is built into the hull itself, a technician said. They saw scars along the ship's body. Old damage. Repaired damage. This ship had survived battles. Real ones. Then the scan revealed something unsettling. Crew capacity. This ship can hold far more humans than detected, Rithken said. How many? Threxel asked. Enough to replace the crew multiple times. Silence. The aliens understood. Humans expected casualties, and they planned for them. The scan moved to the command structure. There was no single command center. Control was spread across the ship. If the bridge was destroyed, another could take over. If that failed, a third. If leadership dies, Threxel said slowly, the ship continues. And if the crew dies, someone asked. The answer came from the data. Automation took over, but not fully. Human ships never removed human choice. Weapons could be fired manually. Engines could be started without systems. Doors could be opened by force. This ship does not trust machines completely, Rithken said, but it does not depend on humans completely either. The scan reached the energy systems again. The reactors were shielded, separated, and isolated. If one exploded, others would survive. This ship can keep fighting while tearing itself apart, Threxel said. The bridge lights dimmed slightly. Power levels fluctuated. What is happening now? Threxel asked. The human ship is adjusting power flow, the technician said nervously. To block us. No, he replied. To stabilize itself. The scan was stressing the ship, and the ship was calmly adapting. The alien crew felt small. They had believed humans were dangerous because they were emotional. They were wrong. Humans were dangerous because they planned for fear, pain, and loss. A new section of data unlocked. Crew logs. Not classified. Not hidden. Rithkin opened one. A human voice played, calm and tired. Damage report. Hull breach on Deck 5. 17 dead. We continue mission. Another log. Engines failing. Rerouting power manually. Another. Enemy still firing. We are still alive. The voices were not heroic. They were not angry. They were normal. That terrified the aliens more than any weapon. These are not war cries, Rithkin whispered. These are routines. The scan reached the last major system. Weapons control. Threxel raised his hand. Slow it down. The data revealed weapon after weapon. Some were energy-based, some physical, some they could not fully understand. But one thing was clear. The weapons were simple, not elegant, not complex. They worked even when damaged. They are built to fire under chaos, Rithkin said. The final data appeared. A simulation file. Human war doctrine. The scenarios were brutal. Outnumbered 10-1. Surrounded. No escape. And yet, the ship fought. Again. And again. And again. Victory was not always achieved. But survival almost always was. The bridge was silent once more. Threxel looked at the human warship on the screen. It still drifted. Still silent. Still watching. This is not a ship meant to win wars, Threxel said quietly. It is a ship meant to make war too costly. A warning light blinked. A transmission signal appeared. Not an attack. Not a threat. A passive broadcast. The scan had triggered something deeper. Something intentional. The human ship was about to teach them more. And the alien crew were no longer sure they wanted to learn. The alien bridge felt smaller than before. Commander Threxel stood still, staring at the new data stream filling the main screen. The human warship had not moved. It still drifted in space like a dead thing. But now the aliens knew the truth. It was not dead. It was waiting. Proceed with weapons analysis, Threxel said. His voice was calm, but his chest felt tight. Rithkin hesitated. Commander, the ship allowed our scan before. This section may be different. Humans do not hide their strength, Threxel replied. They let fear do the work. The weapon scan began. At first, the data looked familiar. Energy cannons, missile bays, defense turrets. Then the scan went deeper. The alien saw that each weapon system had 3 control methods. Automated targeting, manual crew control, direct mechanical override. If all computers fail, Rithkin said, a human can still fire by hand. That is inefficient, a scientist muttered. That is desperate, Threxel corrected. The weapons were not the most powerful the galaxy had seen. They were not elegant. They were reliable. Each cannon could fire even if damaged. Each missile tube could be reloaded manually. Some weapons did not even require power to operate. This ship is built to fight while dying, Rithkin whispered. The scan reached the ammunition systems. There were no limits. Human weapons did not cap output. They did not restrict heat. They did not shut down to protect the ship. Instead, they allowed damage. They accepted risk. Humans allow their weapons to destroy themselves if needed, Threxel said. The realization hit the bridge like a cold wave. This ship was not designed to survive safely. It was designed to survive long enough. A new file opened without warning. Simulation data. Battle scenarios. The human warship was placed against multiple alien fleets. It lost again and again. But every time it lost, it took something with it. Enemy ships destroyed. Enemy command structures broken. Enemy morale shattered. These simulations are not about victory, Rithkin said. They are about punishment. The aliens saw records of human doctrine. If retreat is impossible, make the enemy regret advance. The scan moved to a restricted weapons section. The data resisted, not blocked, delayed. The ship was deciding. Then it opened. What appeared made several scientists step back. These were not standard weapons. They were denial weapons, area weapons, long-term damage weapons, weapons that made regions of space unusable. These violate multiple galactic laws, one officer said. Yes, Threxel replied, which means humans have chosen not to use them. Until forced. The file showed approval requirements. Human command authority. Multiple confirmations. Last resort status. They keep these weapons, Rifkin said slowly. Not for war, but for endings. The bridge lighting dimmed again. Power fluctuations spread across the alien ship. The human vessel is drawing energy, a technician said. Preparing to fire? Threxel asked. No, the technician replied. Preparing to speak. A new signal emerged. A broadcast, not aimed at the alien ship alone. It was wide, open, translated instantly. A human voice filled the bridge. Calm, clear, without anger. This is a standard Terran defense vessel. Several aliens froze. This scan has been detected and logged. Threxel's mandibles tightened. No hostile action has been taken, the voice continued. That decision remains yours. The broadcast ended. Silence returned. The meaning was clear. Humans were not threatening. They were recording. Rifkin swallowed. Commander, this ship does not fear us. No, Threxel said quietly. It assumes we will choose correctly. The scan continued. The weapons log showed something even more disturbing. Usage history. Most weapons have been fired, so many times, but the most powerful systems, never activated. These weapons have never been used, Rifkin said. Then why keep them? A junior officer asked. Threxel did not answer, because he already knew. The answer was written in human strategy. The greatest weapon is the one that never needs to fire. The scan reached the final data layer. A human war doctrine file. Simple words. Clear meaning. Peace is maintained by readiness. War is ended by resolve. The aliens understood. Humans did not fight because they enjoyed it. They fought because they had already decided how far they would go. And that line was far beyond what the galaxy considered reasonable. A final alert sounded. The human ship was powering engines, not weapons. Engines. It is leaving, the technician said. The warship turned slowly. Its massive hull shifted, revealing deep scars and layered armor. It did not rush. It did not threaten. It simply left. The scan ended automatically. The bridge remained silent. Commander Threxel looked at the empty space where the human ship had been. This ship was not a warning, he said. It was an example. Rifkin nodded slowly, and we were allowed to see it. Threxel turned toward the stars. Send a full report to the Galactic Council, he ordered. Mark it as urgent. The galaxy needed to know, because if humans ever decided to stop being patient, no law, no fleet, no alliance would stop what came next. And the true panic had only just begun. The human warship was gone. Only empty space remained where it had drifted moments before. The stars looked the same, cold and distant, but nothing felt normal anymore. Commander Threxel stayed silent for a long time. Confirm, he finally said. The ship has fully exited scan range. Yes, Commander, the technician replied. No weapons charge. No pursuit course. It simply left. Threxel's mandibles tightened. Humans could have stayed. They could have threatened. They could have attacked. They did none of those things. That worries me more than violence, Threxel said quietly. Chief Analyst Rifkin nodded. They did not need to prove anything. The bridge crew slowly returned to their stations, but fear remained in the air. Every console still showed fragments of scanned data. Systems diagrams, weapon outlines, damage reports. Yet one file remained unopened. Rifkin noticed it first. Commander, he said slowly, there is a deep layered data packet still attached to the scan. Explain. It is not part of any system, Rifkin said. Not weapons, not engines, not armor. Then what is it? Rifkin hesitated. A message. Threxel looked up sharply. A transmission? No, Rifkin replied. It was already there, embedded into the ship itself. The bridge fell silent again. Open it, Threxel ordered. The file unfolded across the main screen. Not code, not tactical data. Text. Simple human language, already translated. The first line appeared. This vessel is not built to intimidate. Several officers shifted uneasily. The next line followed. It is built to end questions. Threxel felt a cold weight settle inside him. This is not a threat, Rifkin said softly. It is a statement. The message continued. It explained the purpose of the ship, not in military terms, but in human thinking. Humans knew they were weaker in number. They knew the galaxy was larger than them. They knew they could not control everything. So they planned differently. They built ships that could operate alone, ships that could survive isolation, ships that could endure long enough for others to decide. Decide what? A junior officer asked. The answer appeared on the screen. Decide whether peace is worth keeping. The crew exchanged fearful looks. This ship is not for conquest, Rifkin said. It is for judgment. The message showed historical context, early human contact, early betrayals, broken treaties, surprise attacks. Humans had learned. They had stopped trusting promises. Instead, they trusted preparation. The message was calm, almost polite. We do not strike first. We do not strike fast. We strike last. Threxel stared at the words. This is doctrine, he said, not emotion. The message continued. It explained why the ship allowed the scan. Humans believed fear created mistakes. Understanding created restraint. So they allowed others to see. See what? An officer asked. Rifkin read aloud. What happens when humans prepare for the worst? The final section of the message focused on something far more disturbing. Human restraint. The ship carried weapons that were never used. Not because they failed, but because humans chose limits. Limits based on survival, not mercy. If this is restraint, Threxel said, what does removal of restraint look like? No one answered. The message ended with a final line. This is not our strongest ship. This is our standard. The bridge went completely silent. The meaning was clear. If this was normal, then the unknown was far worse. A red indicator flashed. Incoming communication. Priority channel. The Galactic Council. Threxel straightened. Open it. A council representative appeared on the screen, their expression tense. Commander Threxel, the representative said, we received your preliminary report. We require full confirmation. Threxel nodded slowly. It is accurate, he said, and incomplete. Incomplete? The representative asked sharply. There is more, Threxel replied. Much more. He ordered the full data package transmitted. Weapons data, structural analysis, simulation outcomes, and the message. The council representative grew pale as the data streamed in. This cannot be correct, the representative whispered. It is, Threxel said, and it was meant to be seen. Across the galaxy, alarms began to ring. Strategic fleets were recalled, border defenses activated, long-standing war plans suspended. The council representative swallowed. What do the humans want? They asked. Threxel answered honestly. They want to be left alone, he said, and they want us to understand why. The communication ended. The bridge of the Kethvar remained quiet. Rifkin looked at the stars. Commander, what happens now? Threxel did not answer immediately. He thought of the drifting ship, the calm message, the silent departure. Now, he said finally, the galaxy decides whether it believes humans. A new alert flashed. Multiple signals. Galactic-wide broadcasts. Emergency sessions. Fear spreading faster than any fleet. Threxel closed his eyes briefly. The humans had not fired a shot. They had not issued threats. They had simply shown the truth. And that truth was now tearing through the galaxy. The panic had begun. The Galactic Council chamber had never been this loud. Voices echoed from every direction. Representatives argued, shouted, and demanded answers. The room, built to show unity, now showed fear instead. The full report from the Kethvar had reached every major power. No one questioned its truth. They questioned its meaning. "They are exaggerating," one representative said. "No species builds ships like this without hostile intent." Another slammed a limb against the table. "The data is verified. Multiple systems confirmed it." Screens around the chamber displayed images of a human warship, its dark hull, its layered armor, its silent weapons. A third representative spoke softly, but their words carried weight. This ship did not attack. It did not threaten. It left. That silence was more frightening than any attack. High Coordinator Valish rose from the center platform. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed stress. "Order," he said. "We will have order." The chamber quieted slightly. "The question before us is simple," Valish continued. "Are humans preparing for war or preventing it?" No one answered, because no one knew. Across the galaxy, the panic spread faster than information. Trade routes slowed. Civilian ships changed course. Border worlds activated old defenses. Some species recalled their fleets. Others pushed fleets forward. Fear created chaos. On a distant world, an alien admiral watched the report in silence. He replayed the simulations again and again. Human ships fighting while burning. Fighting while broken. Fighting when logic said they should stop. "These are not conquest ships," he said quietly. "These are refusal ships." On another world, a young diplomat read the embedded human message. "We strike last." The word stayed in her mind. If humans struck last, then someone else always struck first. Back in the council chamber, the arguments grew sharper. "They are hiding something," one representative shouted. "No species prepares like this without planning destruction." Valish turned to them. "Or they prepare like this because destruction found them first." That silenced the room. Rithkan's report played again. The calm human voice. The standard designation. The quiet confidence. "This is not our strongest ship. This is our standard." That single sentence broke centuries of assumed superiority. For generations, the council had believed balance kept peace. But balance required limits. Humans had limits. They simply planned beyond them. A new message arrived in the chamber. Emergency alert. Multiple border systems reported the same thing. Human ships were moving, not toward alien space. Away from it. "They are retreating?" someone asked. "No," a fleet commander replied. "They are repositioning." The room grew quiet again. "Why move at all?" a representative asked. Valish understood before the answer came. "Because they have been observed," he said, "and they accept the consequences." The council watched live feeds. Human fleets did not form attack lines. They did not charge weapons. They took defensive positions. They spread out, everywhere. "This looks like preparation," a general said. "For what?" someone asked. Valish answered slowly. "For everyone else to decide." Another council member stood. "We should demand talks." "And say what?" someone snapped. "Please stop being prepared?" A cold realization spread. Humans had not broken any law. They had not violated any treaty. They had not attacked. They had simply existed openly. For the first time, the galaxy felt small. A private communication opened on Valish's console. "Commander Threxel." "Coordinator," Threxel said. "We have detected increased military activity across multiple regions." "Yes," Valish replied. "So have we." "Humans will notice," Threxel said. "They already have," Valish answered. Silence followed. "If panic leads to an attack," Threxel said, "humans will respond." "And if they respond?" Valish asked. "They will not stop halfway," Threxel said. The communication ended. The council chamber felt heavy. Every species present realized the same truth. The danger was not human aggression. It was alien fear. Fear led to mistakes. Mistakes led to war. And humans had prepared for that. Valish stood once more. We will not act on fear, he declared. We will observe. We will communicate. We will not provoke. Some agreed. Others did not. That night, across the galaxy, small fleets moved without orders. Old grudges surfaced. Weak commanders sought strength through force. And humans watched, not with anger, with patience. On a distant human command vessel, a Terran officer reviewed reports. Alien fleet movements increasing, a technician said. The officer nodded. Expected. No change in posture? The technician asked. None, the officer replied. Maintain readiness. No panic. No speeches. No threats. Just preparation. Back in the council chamber, Valish stared at the stars. We believe we understood power, he said quietly. We were wrong, because power did not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply waited, and the galaxy was running out of calm. The galaxy waited. Days passed, then weeks. Human fleets stayed in place. They did not advance. They did not retreat. They held quiet positions near their own borders, spread wide and calm. No threats were sent. No warnings were issued. No speeches were made. For the first time in galactic history, silence became terrifying. In the Galactic Council chamber, the noise had faded. Fear had burned itself out, leaving something worse behind, uncertainty. High Coordinator Valish stood alone at the central platform. Many seats were empty now. Some representatives had returned to their worlds. Others were still arguing behind closed doors. But no one had answers. Humans have not responded to our requests, one council member said quietly. They received them, another replied. They simply chose not to answer. Valish nodded slowly. That may be the answer. Across the galaxy, commanders watched human ships through long-range sensors. Every skin showed the same thing. Engines ready. Weapons powered. No aggressive movement. Human ships were not waiting for orders. They were waiting for choices. On the alien research vessel Kevvar, Commander Threxel reviewed the latest data alone. He replayed the scan of the human warship one last time. The layered systems. The calm message. The simple words. We strike last. Still no change. Rithken asked, entering the bridge. No, Threxel replied. And that is the message. Rithken hesitated. Commander, some fleets are still moving. Not many, but enough. Threxel closed his eyes briefly. Fear does not need numbers, he said. It needs one mistake. That mistake came sooner than expected. On the edge of a minor border system, a small alien patrol fired a warning shot at a human defense ship. It was meant to scare, to show strength. The human ship did not respond. The patrol fired again. Still nothing. Then, slowly, the human ship turned. It did not fire. It transmitted a single message, open and unencrypted. This action has been logged. No response at this time. The patrol withdrew. Word spread fast. Humans were not reacting to fear. They were documenting it. The Galactic Council met in emergency session once more. They are recording everything, a representative said. Every move, every mistake. Valish nodded. Because when history is written, humans intend to be clear about who chose what. The room fell silent. For generations, power had meant force. Now power meant restraint. On a distant human world, a Terran admiral spoke quietly to his staff. Any changes? He asked. No, sir, an officer replied. Alien movements stabilizing. Good, the admiral said. Maintain standard posture. That's it, the officer asked. The admiral looked at the stars. That's always been it. Back on the Kefvar, Rithken finally asked a question that haunted him. Commander, why show us the ship? Why allow the scan? Threxel answered without hesitation. Because humans understand something we forgot, he said. What is that? Fear grows in darkness, Threxel replied. They turned on the light. Across the galaxy, fleets slowly returned to their stations. Trade routes reopened. Border defenses stood down, not because of trust, because of understanding. Everyone now knew the truth. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They were not the largest empire. They were the most prepared to endure. And that changed everything. The Galactic Council issued a final statement. No condemnation. No praise. Only acknowledgement. Humanity is recognized as a stabilized power. Vailish read aloud. No hostile intent observed. No aggressive action taken. It was the quietest victory in history. The human fleets remained still for another cycle. Then, one by one, they powered down weapons. Not fully, never fully, but enough. On the bridge of a Terran defense vessel, a junior officer smiled. Looks like they chose peace, he said. The captain nodded. They always had that choice. Far away, Commander Threxel watched the stars in silence. They never threatened us, Rifkin said softly. No, Threxel replied. They trusted us. And if we had failed? Threxel looked at the darkness beyond the hull. Then the galaxy would have learned why humans prepare so carefully. The final report was archived. Title, First Galactic Human Contact. Observation Phase. No war followed. No invasion came. Only a new rule, unspoken but understood by all. Do not test humans. Do not corner them. And never assume silence means weakness. Because when humans finally speak, it will not be to argue, and the galaxy will not survive the explanation.